Hello everyone, Jan Hicks of Jan Hicks Creates here. I am home from my errands. I am a little soggy. I guess I'm dried out now, but I've been rained on multiple times this morning, so forgive the dew. It's not much of a dew. Anyways, we're going to take a little home tour. Mike and I have everything hanging. Well, that's not true either. There's still some stuff in the guest room that we still need to get put up. But for the most part, the apartment is together, and I thought I would take you on a tour and show you where all of my pieces have found a home. So we are in the foyer right here. I'm going to act like I'm coming in the front door. I'm going to turn you guys around so you can see what I'm seeing. So hold that thought. Hello everyone, welcome home. So this is what we see when we come in the front door. Lots of pretties. And more pretties up the stairs that we will look at in just a minute. So we'll start here. I did show this on one of my videos very early on. This is a vintage piece. The designer is Sue Lentz Designs. Sue Lentz was known for working with all kinds of fibers and all kinds of specialty stitches to create just kind of wild, colorful, very inventive designs, and I loved her designs. I still have, well, actually I don't know whether I still have any of them. I have some other finished pieces that I haven't actually FFO'd, but this is the big one that I did. I don't even remember the name of it, but as you can see, there's kind of multiple sections. They kind of come together in some sort of coherence here in the middle, but not really. Of course, I loved the colors. A lot of marlet. If you guys have ever worked with marlet, you know what a pain in the butt marlet can be. It's kind of like a satiny rayon fiber that is very slinky and slippery and just a pain to work with. But boy, does it produce a gorgeous finished result. This is another one that always gets pride of place in our homes. And so I have it right here in our entryway. Look at all the different stitches showing off the gorgeous fabric and of course gorgeous colors. We have a bathroom here. It also is our laundry room, as you can see. Really nothing to show in there. Here in our foyer we have a piece of artwork with I have my my seashell collection here. These are shells and stones, and the bottom of that is stones. A lot of these I've collected in Florida and Sarasota. Most of the stones are from our time in New England, various places that we stopped at, various beaches. And then the coral that you'll see here is stuff that I've picked up here on Oahu since we've gotten here. This bowl is one I actually, was it Helen D, East Coast Crafter, who recommended this bowl to me? I think it was. It is, I forget whether it's laser engraving, something that shoots out electric laser and kind of electrifies it, but creates these wild patterns in the bowl. I loved it, and I thought it's perfect for this. My little piece here is the piece that I worked on the plane that I started and finished on the flight out here to Oahu when we came out on our house hunting tour in November. And I think it fits there perfectly. Underneath we have just some random stuff. I'm not even sure what that black thing is. I think it's something that has to go in the Jeep. A candlestick that needs a candle. And this is one of our vases that we got in Santa Fe. We got several in Santa Fe. And that is one of them. So then we come into the living room. We have the living room and the kitchen and the dining room. And in the dining room is where I have Harbor Haven hanging. So I can look at it every day. I'm gonna spin around here and show you the living room with the kitty So sitting in my seat right there, anytime I want, I can turn my head and see Harbor Haven. And when I'm sitting here eating, I can see Harbor Haven. And you can see me in the glass, but that's okay. So this other piece of artwork, as well as this red one, or orangish red, yellows, whatever you call those colors, those were all done by a woman named Tammy Bittner. Tammy is actually the wife of a guy that I went to high school with. He started posting a number of years ago his wife's artwork on Facebook, and I knew I needed some in my life. So the piece there in the hallway, you can tell that we like abstract art. And this piece, and then the other piece. This is our little like beverage station. We also have a little wine cooler down there that we just got. And the shelving holds a lot of our pottery that we have gotten on different trips, different places. Some from Canada, some from, I forget now. Several of these were from Canada though, that when we were visiting our friend Janine and Dave. I think that's where we got these two and that one. We might have gotten all of them there. I don't remember. The little pot on the top, the little teapot, is actually a pot that we had up at our cottage in central Pennsylvania. My father would make tea in this pot every single morning, and so it has traveled with me wherever we go since we sold the cottage. This is a little drawing of a line art drawing of the Eiffel Tower, sorry for the glare, that a friend of ours did. And that now travels with us. We have a rack here that we decided to get to store some of our larger appliances so it wouldn't clutter up all the kitchen counters. So you can see it's the home of Mike's two beloved Instant Pots, mixer, coffee grinder, other kinds of odds and ends. We don't have any stitching hanging yet in the living room. Really couldn't find anything. Don't have anything finished yet, I guess, that will work over the TV. We do have a kitty there, and another kitty there. She's looking very disgruntled. I've shown you before my photos that I had printed out on canvas. I need to get more photos printed because these only represent our New England trip, our Southwest trip, and just a couple from, well, one from, these might both be from Charleston, actually, I don't remember. Over here, we have my orchid, otherwise known as an orchard. And look, it has a new bud coming out. I'm so proud of myself. I'm not sure what I'm doing right, but I am doing something right. You can see this piece of artwork up close. Isn't that gorgeous? This is another one of our vases from Santa Fe, and this lovely little piece that I finished, and this is just on here with Velcro. My intention eventually is to do all the different seasons. This is from Lila's studio. I have spring done. I own the other ones. I will get them done. And that is just on a DVD or DVD shelf. So there is that. We're going to make our way into the bedroom now. I'm not sure what the lighting is like in here. It is a very gray, rainy day. So just in here, we couldn't fit both of the nightstands across the wall there with the bed. So we just put that here. This light, there's no plug here for the light, so it isn't even plugged in. But it's a nice place for family pictures. We have another canvas picture up here. This picture Janine took of Mike and I down at the beach at Siesta Key. Of course, the sunsets there were absolutely gorgeous, and so, and Janine is an amazing photographer, so this I had that photo made into a canvas, and it also gets pride of place in our home. I come around here, we have my little, just kind of a little montage of Mike and I. I don't know whether you can see that, when we were both quite a bit younger. Just got that, I think I got that on sale at Michael's. And then my little happily ever after piece. That's a Glory Bee. And I think it's from the late 90s. So I totally changed all the colors on that, as one does. Come around here, we have some more family pictures, me and Mike and the boys. These are their senior pictures. We have another large piece of artwork. This is actually just one we got at Haverty's when we got the bedroom furniture, because it all matched so well. Over here, we have my little quilt piece. And hold on one second. I'm gonna close the window. So this is the design that, I don't remember, Bornquist maybe is the name of the designer. It's a pattern from 1987, copyrighted 1987. So it is an old one. This is the one that screamed 80s with the colors. So I totally changed them. And I'm absolutely thrilled with how it turned out. It's just perfect, if I do say so myself. And what I'm going to do, I showed you that Quilter's Cottage pattern from Lori Holt. I am going to change the colors to match this. And my plan is, I have to figure out the sizing and all that, but my plan is to finish it so that it will fit like up above. So they'll kind of be a matching set, matching but not matching. I think as I go through that whole process, I am going to record it so you can get a feel for what goes into not only picking out different colors for a pattern, but choosing the right fabric to get it to be a certain size. And I'm not sure how close it's going to match that as far as size is concerned, but I'm going to try. So there's a nice window here letting in light. I'm going to turn here and open up my wardrobe, because not only is this where I keep a lot of my pretty knitted garments, and yes, I do have a lot of my sweaters. A lot of them are in cottons and linen, so they're fine for here. A lot of my scarves and shawls, and I've actually had to wear some of the sweaters here. And today wouldn't have been a bad day to wear a sweater. Let me get this bag out of here. But this is also where I store my fabric. On this stack here, I have everything 32 and under. And it's also where I store my chatelaine so the cats can't get at it. And over here is where I store my 36 and 40 count fabrics. So it's a nice place to store them. Hold on, let me put this so it doesn't slide. To store them so that they're away from the cat hair, and they're also fairly flat without a lot of folds. All this in the middle is just random excess from different things or smaller pieces, and all kinds of different sizes, different counts. And I worked on my chatelaine the past few days, so I have some progress there, but I will show more of that on my floss tube tomorrow. So we are now, that's pretty much the downstairs. I'll show you the guest room, although like I said, I don't really have anything hanging in the guest room at this point. This piece of work here, this artwork here on the wall, and there it has a matching companion piece. Those are from a craft show that we went to in Siesta Key Village a number of years ago. They are just big pieces of wood with just all this gorgeous, can you see the globs of paint on this? It's just gorgeous texture and color. Whether you can see the thickness of this. We fell in love, we wandered around, we looked at other things, we said, you know something, look at that, that's something. We need some of those in our life. And we actually got back just as they were closing up the booth and made the purchase. Is that gorgeous? I just love all the randomness of it, the different colors. I love the gold with what looks kind of like music staffs. We'll look at the small one when we get over there. Guest bedroom. I don't have any of the blinds open. It gets pretty warm in here, so we keep the blinds closed. But the guest bedroom, like I said, we don't really have anything hanging in here yet, but the bed is ready for guests. Doesn't that look inviting? I do have one little thing here I thought I'd show you. So this is, let me flip open the blinds just a bit. There we go. So this is actually a little piece of artwork that I did at a trade show. So as many of you know, as I've mentioned in some video at some point, I worked for a stamp company, and one year I went with them to CHA, the Craft and Hobby Association, the big convention in Las Vegas, and I was helping out in their booth. And down, you know, a lot of the booths do different makes and takes to promote their products. And there was a painting booth not too far from ours that was doing this as a make and take. And it's one of those kind of like the, what is it, Bob? Shoot, I can't remember his last name. The Happy Little Trees guy. It was the same type of thing. They stepped you through each little process and each little detail. And of course, everybody ended up with the same looking one, but all of the ladies in the booth went down and did this. And so we would take turns. One would go and come back with hers, and another one would go and come back. So we weren't, you know, emptying out the booth, but we all got a chance. And then it's sprinkled with glitter. I've never framed it or anything. I probably should, but I sure do love it. Isn't that pretty? And it makes me think I could paint, actually, as long as somebody's telling me exactly what to do with the different tools and the different brushes. There's our lanai. The rug has gotten blown up. It's a rug made out of recycled plastic straws, so it won't mildew or mold or anything. We still need to get like a table or something out there. But that is our lanai looking up through our development there. All right. So upstairs, front door, grocery bags hanging on it. So this is the little companion piece. Totally same type of idea, just much smaller. Makes me smile coming up here. We also have, hanging up on the stairs, we have some maps. I got these maps from some old books, some old atlases when I was in India, and had them framed there. They basically represent my ancestry. There is, and I think these maps are from the late 1800s. So we have Scotland, because my grandmother came from Scotland. We have the United States, because of course I live there, North America. And the German Empire, because a large part of my ancestry is German, on both sides. Over on this wall, this quilt, my aunt, my mother's oldest sister, was an amazing quilter. I mean, just amazing. And she's made two, the other for me. The other one is hanging on the wall up here, but this is one of them. So here we are up in the loft. If you've been watching my videos for a while, you will recognize this. This is the shelf that hung in the spare bedroom at the apartment in Odenton, and for a while this is what you saw behind me. This is a silk on silk rug hanging, wall hanging mini rug, I guess, that I got in India. I had several other silk rugs that have since been given away simply because they were getting in pretty ratty condition. I got them in the late 80s when I traveled over there. But this, because it's always been hanging, is perfect and beautiful. So this always makes me happy. The back of it. On the top of it, we have the flag that was on my father's grave, that that was on his casket at his funeral, and then his army hat from World War II. And then next to it is the little punch needle piece that I mounted on canvas. Now I will apologize, I am not going to be turning the light on up here, so I'm hoping it's not going to be too dark. The light here, it's a fan light. It has some kind of electrical problem that after it's on for a while, it starts flickering. And the flickering is annoying enough that it's just too annoying. So I'm going to save the cross-stitch wall for last. We'll go over that in detail. This is the other quilt that my aunt made for me. And this is actually a wedding present that she made for me and my first husband. And this is actually the first time I have hung it since I divorced him. So I figured it was time to let this beauty shine. Enough time has passed. So printer cabinet. This is my storage cabinet. So you can see on the top, and again, I hope I can get the lighting right. I just have a few little doodads, and of course you can see how high this is. Yes, Kim, I know. Cats fall on their feet, it's not a big deal. Nina gets up here every night, freaks us out still. I have some old thimbles here. This is actually a thimble that I got in India. This is a thimble that was my grandmother's. I have a couple pin cushions here that were in my grandmother's stuff. Look how old those pins are. I don't know who, where, what, why, but it was in my grandmother's things. As well as that one there. This little needle book Lynette Peters made for me. These pieces, as well as this one here, I got at the Taj Mahal in India. They are a representative, I guess the same artwork, the same craftsmanship as all the inlaid stones in the Taj Mahal. So this is malachite, the green is malachite. I'm not sure what the brown is. This blue here is lapis lazuli. I believe this is also malachite with some mother of pearl abalone as well. So it's totally flat, but this is the type of artwork that is covering the Taj Mahal. So I got those in the late 80s when I traveled there. So that's on the top. Little baby booties that I think were my own. They were in my mother's stuff. This little piece is a piece that was in one of the boxes from my friend CJ. That's just a little paper craft multimedia thing that I did many moons ago. I have little jars here. Those are little seashells and leftovers of ribbons. My grandma. That's buttons. The little snowman that Cindy's cross stitch gave me. I have a little maple leaf thing here that had syrup in it. I cleaned it all out, and that's where I keep my odds and ends of beads and buttons and all kinds of little things that don't really have a home. I have little woven pieces here and here that I did when I was doing a little bit of weaving. I also have a woven piece here. On this one, I incorporated some beads in there. Lots of different textures. There's some leather here, some jewelry findings there. So that was one weaving that I did. And then this is another one. Different designs, I guess, all with the same color palette, and then with tiger eye beads in between. Just played around with weaving for a little bit. Let's see, we have, this is another piece by the Trilogy. When I get my Grateful Hearts done, it will be framed in a similar fashion so these two can kind of hang together. A couple yarn bowls foiled with little remnants. You might remember my Mill Hill Santa that I did last year. I used to have a whole collection of the Dickens houses. This is the only one I kept, the wool shop, because wool. And then here's my basket of all the little smalls that I've done so far, as well as the one that Lynette made for me. Pride of Place there. So there's Filigree Heart, the one I just finished. Let It Snow, I'll be showing you more of that tomorrow on my floss tube, but that is finished. We have one of the Frosties, that's Frosty 10 from Lizzie Kate. All Is Calm, that's from one of the Just Cross Stitch Christmas magazines. This is the Prairie Schooler from one of those. Both of these, and you guys have seen these before. These are my Christmas in July pieces from last year. And then this is Michael Powell, the little Michael Powell Christmas ornament book I got. And what's down in the bottom of here, kind of supporting all this, is all these little mini books that I made. This is all scrapbooking, multimedia type of things, just little books with pictures, mostly of the boys, of course, that I just kind of keep in a bowl here and kind of look through periodically. Some cards I've made, just, oh look, winter. This is probably 2009 or 2010. That's Ben. This was with a line of not material, paper from, I think, Doodlebug Designs. This was our house in Maryland that we sold before we moved to Florida. Goofy kids playing in the snow. So that was fun. Look at him. Isn't he adorable? Oh, goodness gracious. They're so cute at that age. I made all the pictures into black and white so that they would contrast nicely with the colors of the paper. So anyways, this thing is just full of mostly little booklets celebrating my boys. These are actually digital scrapbooking papers and word art that I designed, that I then printed out and made this little album with. So that is that. My work table. Nothing too exciting here. My computer, my work table, all kinds of odds and ends. You remember that from last July as well. That's another Lizzie Kate. Sewing machine hiding down there. Frames and a bag of stuff I still need to enter into X-Stitch. And in my storage, I'll just show you quickly. I have shown this before. Over here is mostly kits and books and odds and ends of bags and the sticky board odds and ends, that kind of thing. In the top drawer, I have my fabric and some embellishment type things that I got. In the second drawer, I have more odds and ends, frames, odds and ends of fibers, some pearl cotton and stuff I don't know what to do with, Q-snaps, wool thread, picks, floral picks, more ribbon, and well, this is actually a rayon ribbon that I want to do something with. So that's just kind of a junk drawer. And then this is where I keep all of my floss that I don't have in projects. And I've shown this on a video as well. In the, above the computer is my India wall. So this is another map that I got in India, again, from the late 1800s. This is a picture of the Taj Mahal that I took when I was there, printed it in black and white. This is again, a digital paper that I designed, that I printed out and framed. And then this is another piece that I got in India, a page from some kind of illuminated book that they were selling these, somebody was selling these pages for. So I will be adding stuff to my India wall as time goes on. In this magical place, we have bins of yarn, and you may have noticed the bins of yarn there on the floor. Those were taken out because Mike was appalled to realize that there is only this one support for this shelf, and it's a long shelf, and I have a lot stacked up there and stuff hanging from it. So he wanted to take the bins down until we get more supports put on this. So that's why those bins are sitting there. This is one of the things I got at the thrift or Goodwill to use as a mount at some point. These are all of my finished pieces that I don't have framed yet. I just keep them on one of those like coat or pant hanger things. I actually went through yesterday and ironed them and put interfacing on the back. So you guys have seen all of these before. Nothing surprising there. I also went through and wrote down the dimensions for all of them so that I can find ways to frame them. My specialty flosses are all on here. So I have 5 different rings. They're separated by colors. I don't separate by company because I don't care what company. I separate them by colors because I look at colors. I need a purple. I go to this ring. This is where my purples and blues are. I need a brown. I go to this ring. This is where my browns and yellows and maybe oranges are. I don't know. The browns are probably actually on here on the gray ring. But anyways, so this was actually a hanger that I had. This was meant for scarves, to hang scarves from, you know, from those rings. So I've had this for years. I've had scarves hanging from it for years. I looked at it when we moved here and went, oh, look at those big rings. I know what people use those big rings for. That would be perfect for my fancy floss. My fancy floss had been in the cabinet with my DMC, but it was so stuffed full that I was having a hard time managing getting stuff out, putting stuff back. So having the fancy floss like this is perfect. And then I can just hang it up here and I'm good to go. This bin is full of project bags that are full of whips for knitting. This is what I showed you. I did that whip parade, my knitting whip parade. That's what all of those are. These are all yarn bins. That bin there is my bin with my patterns. I have hanging folders and all of my charts, cross-stitch charts are in those. My blocking mats, my Morgan hoops for punch needle, my polyfill. I have my Swift back there and some frames, cross-stitch frames that I never use. In my this hanging thing here, we use these a lot. We use these down in our in our closet in our bedroom, because we don't have room for a lot of bedroom furniture. We have most of our clothes in these things hanging in the closet. So in here I have, these are a couple of knits that need to be repaired, as well as my ball winder, my blocking needle block, or knitter's block things that I use for blocking my knitting. These two are my projects, my whips, cross stitch whips that are not currently in the rotation, and then all of these are more bags of yarn. This is how I organize my knitting needles. So these are all of my interchangeables. I don't keep my interchangeable sets in their containers. I put them all here according to size. It just makes it easier for me. I need a size 6. I just come here and find, you know, if my signatures are available, I choose those first. But if not, then I'll just choose whatever. These poor ones still need to be put back because on the other side is, put this down so you can see it. These are all my fixed my fixed circular needles. Again, put in by size. I really, really like this way to organize it because it takes all the kinks out of the circular needle cable. I have a lot of Chiagu. That's my favorite type of circular needle. These holders are from a company, I believe it's called Buttermilk Designs on Etsy. And I've had these for years. And they're just hanging on this thing that's meant, what is it, a multi-garment hanger? So, and this poor other little thing here is the birth sampler that I made for my son, my older son, that has never gotten framed. That's a pretty piece. It really deserves a nice frame. All right, so that is that. I also have some more project bags. A lot of them are just purses that I use, but that whole stack is project bags and other boxes of stuff. All right, so let's get to this wall. This is what you've been waiting for. I'm going to start with this big girl in the middle, and oh, look at that glare. All right, I'm not going to be able to get closer to this, I'm afraid. So this is Angel of Mercy, I believe. This is a lavender and lace, one of the lavender and lace ladies. So you can see I did a date on this. We'll Hold You in Heaven, June 16th, 1995. I have had 2 miscarriages in my life. The first one, I'm trying to get rid of that glare, but still put it where you can see it. The first one was June 16th, 1995. And I decided that I wanted to do a tribute for the baby. And so this pattern seemed perfect. Now, whenever I was in the hospital having my D&C after I had the miscarriage, the nurse that was checking me out said that, you know, when I was finished with the D&C and was heading home, said that I shouldn't worry, that in a year I would be back there having my first child. My first son was born June 27th, 1996. So, did she know what she was talking about, or did she know what she was talking about? I had another miscarriage in between the 2 boys, but of course I have had 2 healthy boys as well. So that is that piece. That is actually the only big lady that I've done. I might have 1 or 2 other of the lady charts, the lavender and lace ones. I don't know that I'll do them. Just not my thing. So this you've all seen before, myself and other people. This is the triptych, the Amish Life triptych from Cross Stitch and Country Crafts magazine from the late 80s. I had started this when it first came out in the magazine as separate pieces you know, it was issued as 3 separate pieces. And I had started it and I had gotten the first piece done, which I think actually was this. Well, maybe it was this side. I don't remember. I had gotten the first piece done, and then I went into the stitching post in Catonsville, Maryland, and somebody had done it. I guess when I started it, it must have been after all 3 were out. But anyway, somebody had done it on 22 count hardanger fabric as 1 piece. And I fell hard. And so I started over, doing it on 22 count as 1 piece. And again, you know, maybe it's something about scenes, but again, it's one of my favorites. Now, so this was finished, I think that says 88. I don't have my glasses on, so I'm not sure. And it's been framed ever since then, but you can see there's something going on up here that I should probably take it out and wash it and have it redone. I just noticed that with this hanging of it. So we'll move over here. This is a shepherd's bush piece called Pansy Walk. Fragile blooms in vibrant flock dancing on my pansy walk. There's some discoloration there too, probably from something it was sitting on in the move. This is one I finished myself, so it is very wonky, but that's okay. I've always liked it. I've always loved pansies. Any place I lived where I was able to plant, I planted pansies in the spring. And so that represents my love of pansies. This Jacobean is all the rage, and I have shown this on one of my earlier videos. This is Jacobean Bellpull. This is another piece by Sue Lentz, and so it's another one that is just chock full of specialty stitches, specialty fibers, just so much going on this piece. But again, I absolutely adore it. And this is actually the piece that started, I said Jacobean, didn't I? Jacobean. This is actually the piece that started my love for that style. All the variegated flosses, and I had this professionally finished. I gave her my leftover floss and she made this nice tassel with it. So that. Jacobean Bellpull. This you have seen. This is a Just Nan that I had finally finished last year. It had been partially finished for years and years and years, and I finally got around to finally finishing it, and then fully finished it last year as well. I had lost the little angel button that went there, so just found a substitute. Obviously, I finished this myself, and so everything is slanted. But that's okay. This is a counted canvas piece, and I'm pretty sure I took a class. I don't remember where the class was. It might have been Stitching Pretty in Laurel. That's another shop that's long gone. But anyway, again, I still had a love for vibrant colors. This was a long time ago. This was back in the late 80s, early 90s as well. My love for vibrant colors has lived on. So counted canvas, this was some count of mono canvas where we chose what colors we wanted to use, and then the teacher helped us pick out stitch patterns. And then this sky you've seen, coneflower, and I think it fits in there very nicely. All right, let's go over to this other side, and all of these you've seen. These are recent ones, well, for the most part. Indigo Lane, Brenda Gervais, with my own color choices. Somewhat similar, but the house is light instead of dark. This one is the irises that I had done from my mother that I just reframed last year. Frosty Forest? No, Winter Wonderland? I don't know, Little House Needleworks. Love, love, love this piece. And yeah, it's totally not the season for it, but I really don't care. Do you care, Nina? Nina's the one that was having a hairball on the way up the steps. Oh, pretty girl. She says, Mommy, will you get off that thing and pet me? Just pet me. Huh. No winter lasts forever, no spring skips its turn. This is the phrase that gets me through winter. Year after year after year. Don't have to worry about it as much now, this is true, but spring has always been my favorite season. This is a chart by Silver Creek Samplers. And then last but not least, this little guy. I got that framed up yesterday. This is a frame that had come from my friend CJ in one of the boxes. And I was looking through that junk drawer over there and saw it and went, you know something? That, I think, will be perfect. And so I put a little, I don't know whether you can tell that it's a little bit puffy. I put a little batting behind it to puff it out a little bit, because of course sheep are supposed to be puffy. And it just fit in there perfectly. And this is the piece that was the kit that had the new colors from, what is it, Classic Colorworks, maybe 2 years ago. The design is by, I don't know whether it's Little House or Country Cottage, and I stitched it over one on a 28 count probably, because look how adorable it is with that tiny stitching. Yay. All right, so that is it, guys. Everything pretty much has a home. I am loving how everything looks. Eventually we'll probably get another TV and a little couch or something up here for Mike to have a little gaming area. And he's talking about maybe having a desk over there too. That's down the road a bit. Nina is here thinking, oh, maybe I should get on the railing again. Huh. All right, guys, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope you enjoyed that little tour. Love you guys. Bye-bye.